afternoon everyone. Tadi mau ngetes aja. Udah pada makan semuanya? Alhamdulillah. Halo, perkenalkan nama saya Kea Dela Rosa. Saya di sini sebagai MC untuk sesi kedua hari ini. Dan kita akan berbicara lebih terkait kondisi udara, khususnya kondisi udara yang ada di Jakarta. Dan sayangnya hingga hari ini, tadi pagi, hari Sabtu, Kota Jakarta masih menempati sebagai kota kelima sebagai kota yang paling tercemar di Indonesia. Dan untuk itu, kita di sini akan berdialog bersama tentunya dengan 3 speakers yang sangat inspiratif, yaitu ada Profesor Uwe Brandes from Georgetown University. Halo Prof. Bersama Ibu Novita Natalia sebagai co-founder Bicara Udara. Selamat datang. Selanjutnya ada Ibu Imelda Maidir selaku Senior Country Coordinator Environmental Health Vital Strategies Bread Cities Initiative. Selamat datang Ibu. Selanjutnya ada Bapak Satya Budi Utama selaku Project Manager for Clean Air Catalyst WRI Indonesia. Selamat datang Bapak. Dan hari ini dipandu oleh moderator kita dari Bapak Aji sebagai Kepala Pusat Riset dan Inovasi Daerah Bapeda Provinsi DKI Jakarta. Selamat datang Bapak. Dan kita dengan tema diskusi hari ini yaitu Designing the Air of Tomorrow, Cities, Citizen, and Solution. Kita akan coba berdialog untuk menelusuri masalah-masalah, tentunya masalah polusi udara yang ada di Jakarta, dan dengan harapan mendapatkan solusi untuk membuat kualitas lebih baik udara di Jakarta. Dan tanpa berlama-lama lagi, langsung saja kita undang Bapak Andika Aji selaku moderator kita hari ini. Selamat datang Bapak. Halo Bapak, selamat datang. Silahkan Bapak dimulai sesi hari ini.
Wow, perlakuannya berbeda ternyata di tiap ruang ya. Kalau di sana semuanya dipanggil ke depan sama MC gitu ya. Oke, good afternoon everyone. Thank you MC for the introduction. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for your presence at Jakarta Teacher Festival 2025 held under the theme Collaborate to Elevate. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Anita Aji. I'm the head of the Center for Research and Innovation, a unit under Regional Development Agency of Jakarta City. So Jakarta Future serves as a moment to celebrate urban collaboration. It is designed as a space for cross-sector expression, exploration, and ideation, anticipating the 3 strategic milestones for Jakarta, like that. So we are talking about the air quality, right? So it's a problem, problem not only for Jakarta but also for many other metropolis around the globe. So for Jakarta itself, it's a peer. Me as a Jakartan also feel not satisfied with this condition. Even though every day I commute with public transportation, and it's really annoying to realize that many citizens still using the private vehicle actually. So I want to ask for the first, which one of you using public transportation for daily use? Raise your hand. Wow, it's quite a lot. Quite a lot. I'm happy. Thank you for using our public transportation. I know that Jakarta public transportation is not ideal, but we are trying to complete it to become more ideal for Jakarta citizen. So let me. I have so many words in here, so we are honored here to hear a presentation for 4 distinguished speakers. Please join me in welcoming our esteemed speaker, Professor Uwe Brandes, a professor of the practice and faculty director of the Georgetown Urban and Regional Planning Program, and faculty, director of Georgetown Global City Initiative. Please give a round of applause for Professor Brandes. Please. Thank you, Professor. Please have a seat. And the second speaker, it's still Professor Brandes here. Really, he's a honorable speaker, I think. So 2 pages. And the second speaker is Miss Novita Natalia, yes, co-founder of Bicara Udara and Yayasan Udara Anak Bangsa, a non-profit foundation dedicated to educating the public about air quality and advocating the policy change. Okay, the third one, Ibu Imelda Maidir. She's a senior country coordinator, environmental health and vital strategies. Yeah, please. Thank you, Ibu Imelda. And the last one. Pak Satya Budi Utama, Project Manager for Clean Air Catalyst Port Resources Institute. Okay, finally, all of our speakers sit in front of us. And I want to ask Professor Brandes. Professor, regarding based on your global urban experience, what proven strategies have cities used to tackle urban air pollution? So, and how how can urban design and spatial planning, especially, contributes to improve the air quality of the city? Oh, tick out.
There we go. There we go. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's my great honor to be here with you today. And it is so exciting to be here in Jakarta, being such an amazing city, big city, an important global city. So it is my great honor to be here and with our very esteemed colleagues here on this panel. I think there are a couple of basic messages that I want to start off with. And that is, the first one is, yes, we can.
Oh,
Yes, we can.
like campaign slogan, right?
But similar. But the idea is that cities are dynamic places, and we don't have to accept the current conditions as the status quo forever. We can change the city, and the city is always changing anyway. So we have to have hope, and we have to work on these issues. The second issue, or the second point I would like to make related to this very important topic, is that we are all part of the city. We are all part of the solution. And as residents of the city, every day, with the choices that we make, we co-create the city. A lot of people, they think, oh, well, Jakarta is such a big city, all those big buildings and trains and cars, and of course the motorcycles, yes. But behind all of that are the people of the city. And it is through the choices that we make that we actually create the city. And then that leads me to my third point, specifically about air pollution. And that is that the air pollution is not merely an inconvenience. It's not just an environmental inconvenience. It is, in fact, a matter of very important public health for everyone. And so the public health issues associated with air pollution are important not only for us as individuals living in the city, but it has a cost associated with it, economic costs, health costs. And so we have to take this issue extremely seriously. And in order to create a great city, we have to address air quality.
Thank you, Professor. So there's a lot of issue related to air pollution, right? So there's a health issues and how people live in the city, and then in the big picture that we live in the same air actually, right? Uh, so we have our responsibility to preserve our clean air quality, right? Like that. Okay. So next to Miss Novita Natalia, regarding to Jakarta continues to struggle with chronic air pollution that affect public health, as Professor Brandes also mentioned, and the quality of life, highlighting the origin of the need for a long-term inclusive solution. How can Jakarta strengthen the role of civil society and empower local communities to take part practical action towards cleaner culture air?
Okay, maybe some of the people in here that they know about bicara udara, but actually I will introduce about bicara udara. So bicara udara in English means like talking about air. So we are focused on the two mission. Is the first one is actually to public education about air pollution, because we already know in Indonesia, we are going to talk about no virality, no justice. So we need the public pressure from the people, from the citizen, to push the government to tackle the air pollution. And the second one is actually our mission is to stakeholder engagement. So we are trying to convene all the stakeholder from the government, from the think tanks, from the organization and the private sector to collaborate together uh, to to tackle the air pollution. So we working together with the spiteful strategies and then WRI. So it's like when we are meeting with them, it's actually yes, you know, in Indonesia lo lagi, it means like we always meeting in the same place and in the same forum. So I think that's the most important when we talk and use our power to conquer in social media, and we need to raise this issue. And actually, this is like the responsibility of the government. To government to create some good policies, and after that, you know, in policy cycle, there is agenda setting. So our main goal is actually to make people talking about that, and after that, we can working together and how to give the solution for the government. So actually, after that, maybe we can talk with the WRI and FICO strategists to know about this. So after this, we need to. It's not just like you are talking in the room. We need to action together. Maybe after this, the panitia here is actually to invite some the ASN from Dinas Lingkungan Hidup, so we can talking about how's the solution, how the implementation about policies, because I think this is not only for the civil society thing, it's about we are working together about it.
Yeah, I agree that her job is to push me. Of course, as a part of governments. Yeah, like that.
It's like we live in a democracy country, so
Yeah, yeah,
the civil society is the pillar of democracy.
Yes, I agree. There's no hard feeling about it. So what's that?
Sorry.
I was also talking with Pak Satya that over there. Then once long time ago we met each other to discuss something, right? Okay. So thank you uh Mbak Novita ya panggilannya. Okay. So next to Ibu Imelda Maidir. Seru nih, gitu. Seru. From your perspective, yeah, what strategic approaches that Jakarta can adopt to overcome cross-sector challenges in air pollution management, and how effective public communication strategies, because the sometimes government has a problem with the communication, how they communicate that policies. Sometimes people think that this policy i- implement without research before, implement without that data before, right? So in your perspective, uh, how can the public communication service seeds narrative and boost citizen participation? I think, like, we realize that the city is a home for us, not only the home for government, right? Not the home for academics, not a home for one people, just for all of us. So can you give us your perfect?
Okay, thank you, Pak Aji. Straight to the core of the issue, the strategic property. So part of the communication, if you don't mind, Pak Prof. Wei and Pak Aji, that I will use partially with the bahasa. So this is like better to engage with. I believe this young people is so familiar with English, but I want to touch a base because this is about the issue of air quality is quite, quite crucial, but is intangible. So in terms of of being engagement and then interactive. Selamat siang menjelang sore semua. Mungkin adik-adik kali ya. Ini karena sebenarnya tiga narasumber di sini, like Novita said, we already have a long partnership together. And then Prof will also address on the importance of the co-creation ya. Mungkin saya coba untuk memulai dari issue about what's the meaning to be of the global city, Jakarta to be a global city, right? Sebenarnya apa sih esensi dari global city itu? Mungkin ada yang bisa menjelaskan kenapa, apa sih yang perlu diadres untuk menjadi global city ini Jakarta nih? Pak Aji punya mandat untuk menjadi global city Jakarta ke depan gitu kan, to be very competitive with other global cities. We talk about all the digital information, right, on all the things, cultural, creative things, sustainability, innovation. But what's missing to be for to be the global cities? Mungkin salah satu yang paling penting itu is quality of life, right? To be competitive, to be comparative advantage with other global cities is the quality of life of the people, ya kan ya? Ya kan, itu dulu. Jadi untuk menjadi kota yang global, produktivitas masyarakatnya, the skill worker, quality of life-nya harus tercapai, ya kan? Nah ini yang mungkin, so what's the meaning of the quality life? Is the people very aware that quality of life, one of the parameter, the indicators, the quality of the air that you did, it's essential, right? It's the right. It's mandatory for the government to feel the right of the citizen. Ya, jadi itu sebenarnya yang jadi basic mungkin Pak Aji ya. Ini makanya soal aware, ada juga ini yang dari sini ada nggak sih yang pernah ngecek gitu ya kualitas udara di Jakarta gitu sekarang berapa sih? Ada pernah ngecek nggak? Mungkin saya beberapa kolega yang mungkin yang lari gitu ya. Pak Tommy ini pelari.
Saya pesepeda loh.
Oh pesepeda ya. Mbak Novita ini pedal. Ya kan itu sering mengecek. Mel ternyata pagi itu parah ya kami kalau untuk berlari pagi gitu. So that daily activity for sport in the morning routine is actually the air quality is very worse. Ya itu jadi baru sebatas itu gitu ya. Mungkin if I ask to you what is
highest level of the DC air quality, PM 2.5?
WRI
Yes.
and MHC Day for children and where children and elderly may not go outside. So this is an issue that is very important for Jakarta, but also for many other cities, as we know.
Yeah, real. So, if you check a couple of days last week, perhaps that we hit around 300 PM 2.300 gitu ya. 300 partikel PM 2,5 yang kita hirup per mikrogram. Nah, ini sebenarnya Indonesia ya, especially Jakarta itu sudah cukup berhasil dengan campaign no smoking, right? For the couple of decades gitu ya. Tapi tahu nggak kira-kira ternyata udara yang kita hirup sehari-hari itu sebenarnya 80 putung rokok gitu. Ya kan? So with the all success of the no smoking campaign, actually daily life we breathe with the 80 cigars. So that's actually the very worst. Tadi juga di dalam pembukaan disebutkan Jakarta 2023 2024 mungkin juga sampai sekarang nih Pak Aji menempati top 5. Nah, top 5 itu kayaknya keren ya. Positif top 5 terburuk kualitas udara. Nah, tadi mungkin saya ralat dari MC ya. Bukan se-Indonesia, sedunia. Top 5. Nah, apakah ini yang mau kita jadikan konteks global cities gitu ya. Jadi PR-nya besar nih Pak Aji itu. Nah, but the issue of the air pollution in global in everywhere, especially Jakarta, terutama di Jakarta dia multifaceted ya. Kita punya 19 juta mobilitas harian, commuting mobil yang beraktivitas di Jakarta gitu ya, dengan memproduksi emisinya gitu ya. Kita punya sekitar 200 industri menengah besar dengan mungkin penggunaan energinya yang tidak ramah lingkungan di Jakarta. Ini kita belum bicara industri kecil menengah sebenarnya yang ya kita tahu mungkin the knowledge dan juga capacities untuk menggunakan green energy tentu terbatas gitu ya. Belum lagi kita juga punya isu dengan soal udara, tidak punya KTP atau Pak Haji gitu ya. So the transboundary emission for the power plant, right? And also the waste burning, open waste burning from other greater area of the neighborhood. So that's multifaceted issue that we face for Jakarta, right? So tadi pertanyaannya lalu bagaimana strateginya gitu ya? Strateginya sebenarnya ada tiga komponen. Kalau secara teknikal kita tentunya untuk perlu melakukan surveillance gitu ya terkait dengan air quality data untuk menginformasikan bagaimana harusnya respon masyarakat gitu ya dengan kegiatan sehari-hari gitu ya. Lalu juga dalam konteks kebijakan nanti mungkin Mas Komi akan bercerita lebih banyak mengenai evidence based study yang mungkin nanti akan menjadi menginformasikan kepada pengambilan kebijakan gitu kan. Tapi the core of heart with the global city actually is the shifting paradigm. Kalau sekarang ini mungkin banyak kita punya bilang inclusive policy. Artinya apa? Artinya to be inclusive gitu ya. Jadi intervensi kebijakan itu pemerintah sebelum menetapkan kebijakan ini coba menginformasikan ke masyarakat gitu kan, kelompok terdampak bagaimana seperti apa gitu kan ya. That's inclusive policy. But now it's shifting a paradigm a bit. The core is now back to the people. Ya kan? Bagaimana tadi juga secara strategi komunikasi, secara juga mengkomunikasikan mengenai kebijakan and air quality intervention di Jakarta sebenarnya it can be So the people is not only the object, but the subject itself. Jadi pelakunya sebenarnya. Jadi warga ini masyarakat kita semua gitu ya. Ini tentunya sebenarnya harus bisa bekerja sama mencetak satu implementation. Ini ada banyak model sebenarnya ya. Jadi di dalam Bridge City sendiri sebenarnya walaupun juga technical support, assistant providing to Jakarta government, but we also strengthen the capability of the people from the NGOs, also from the communities. Jadi kalau kita lihat secara ekosistem gitu ya, ini kan kalau bicara udara kita bicara at the downstream is the emission control, ya, the source of emission control. Di sumbernya yang harus diintervensi gitu kan secara hulu. Di hilirnya ini bagaimana sih caranya mengurangi human exposure gitu ya. Nah, dua hal ini. Nah, itu konteksnya tentunya nanti apa yang many factor will enable this to intervention both in the downstream and the upstream gitu ya. Mulai dari availability data tadi kan, evidence base, and then juga kan terkait dengan community and capacity building to create a solution. Nah, bicara soal juga terkait dengan kolaborasi, bagaimana juga multi stakeholder gitu ya, bahkan juga koordinasi antar pemerintah nih Pak ya. Artinya sekarang di hulunya ya kan di sumber emisi untuk kita mengontrol di situ ada untuk konteks Jakarta ya, ada dinas perhubungan. Ya kan, ada ya juga dinas yang mengurusi urusan emisi industri gitu kan ya. Nah, di human exposure nih sebenarnya ada dinas kesehatan gitu ya, yang mungkin nanti melalui kerja-kerja health frontliners gitu ya bisa memberikan komunikasi, edukasi kepada masyarakat langsung secara promotif dan preventif penyakit yang memang relate terhadap udara. Ada juga dalam konteks dinas lingkungan hidup gitu ya. Dinas lingkungan hidup ini sebenarnya memberikan standar nih. Jadi kalau sinyalnya di sini air quality index-nya udah mau melampaui standar gitu ya, jelek. Nah, berarti kan artinya ini yang menjadi sama-sama referensi acuan dari seluruh stakeholder gitu ya untuk sama-sama bekerja with this particular target penurunan dari emisi gitu. Nah, ini mungkin nanti bisa kita assess sendiri apakah itu sekarang secara tata kelola sedang terjadi atau berlangsung di Jakarta atau tidak gitu kan. Tapi kan sekarang lihat raportnya masih top 5 terburuk gitu ya. Artinya masih ada so many potential gap that we need to fulfill in order to refine this governance in the air quality management system. Nah, dalam konteks strategi komunikasi sendiri gitu ya, ini juga memang tadi mengembalikan bahwa masyarakat gitu ya, itu adalah merupakan subjek yang bahwa sebenarnya mereka juga bisa meng-create demand terhadap clean air gitu ya. Itu tuh suatu yang mungkin pendekatan yang sekarang kita lakukan. Sekarang kan sebenarnya lebih banyak kami dari pemerintah ingin melakukan strategi komunikasi A, B, C gitu kan. Coba dong dikumpul ya secara prosedur SOP dikumpulkan tetap masyarakat gitu in any kind of forum gitu kan supaya tadi bisa checklist inclusive policy gitu ya. Tapi kemudian gap tadi yang terkait bagaimana sih kita bisa enable this people, our people gitu kan untuk juga meng-create demand terhadap clean air action itu menjadi peran kita semua gitu ya. Tapi tentunya itu perlu kerja berbagai pihak, perlu berbasis data juga gitu ya. Jadi capacity building untuk dalam lokal, dalam konteks komunitas itu juga tetap berbasis data. Nah, ini memang the co-creation solution Pak Haji gitu. Thank you. Mungkin nanti bisa macam-macam bedah lagi Pak.
Thank you very much Miss Imelda, for your perspective. Yeah, I know that there are so many homeworks for government especially, yeah, because yeah, we need to elaborate more to find out more effective solution in for the air quality. Since you mentioned about Dhaka, Bu Yanelda, it's related to Pak Satya Budi Utama because you are from WRI. Uh, Regarding to the research and data could influence policy to guide urban development planning. What data-driven policies should Jakarta's government prioritize to promote transformative, sustainable, and inclusive clean air policy for the long term? Think, yeah, it's since you are a researcher, right? So, what your opinion about it?
Yeah, thank you, Pak Adi. Thank you for having us here to speak about the air quality. And first of all, I'd like also to welcome the youth generation. This discussion is very important. And allow me to explain a bit about our organization, the World Resources Institute Indonesia. Is part of the global network of WRI, the World Resources Institute, established in many parts of the world in the continents of America, Europe, Asia. In Asia, we are one of the office along with WRI China and India. In Indonesia, we established our presence since 2014. We work to support the government of Indonesia in many sectors of environment protection, forest, ocean, series. Talking specifically about air quality, we have our flagship project. We are working alongside the government of Jakarta with Dinas Lingkungan Hidup or the Jakarta Employment Agency. His flagship starts in 2021. This is the flagship project is called the Peran Artakaris. Actually, we're working together with Therapeutic Initiative. So we are now in the process of finalizing our support to Jakarta. So our work includes improving the monitoring capacity of Jakarta through the installations of the reference rate air quality monitoring network. We also work on research, emission inventory, source apportionment, and many other activities that we also foresee to continue the field catalyst after we close this year. The question about what should be the priority. So last year we saw a lot of research about air quality. We saw not only WRI Indonesia but also many other organizations working on emission inventory. Through Green Air Catalyst, we identify through our emission inventory on the private patient sector that yes, there is no single source of pollution. There is always many sectors involved. You cannot say it's only transport, this is only power plant, this is only energy. It's all contributing. So what should be the priority? What sector should we work first? So in order to respond to that questions, we together need to prioritize. We need to start with the lowest cost with the highest impact. Taji, what is the lowest cost and the highest impact? You can start with, for example, if you are addressing the transport sector, there has been the policy of Euro 4 standard for fuel since 2019, which has not been fully enforced until now. So as a foundational, low cost, high impact, we would suggest Jakarta to look at that now. Of course, this is not only the jurisdiction of Jakarta when we're talking about the Euro 4. This is only related to the jurisdictions on the national government with the Ministry of Energy or those kind of things. But in terms of where to start, this is the low cost and the highest impact. Because once you address the fuel, you can reduce up to 40% reducing the PM 2.5 by 2050. If you compare the cost for subsidy for this Euro 4 and the cost that you can decrease for health, the impact will be very much higher comparing to the cost. So we call this in our research the foundational. Next, you would need also to see the next step or the next phase is the systemic enabler. So once you address the low cost, the high impact, you need to address the systemic enabler. What is this? What is the systemic enablers? I think we already touched base a bit from what Ibu Imelda just presented. There is always a challenge about coordinations among ministries, agencies, even between us. Coordination is easier to talk rather than to interact. So air quality is a multi-sectoral problem. You cannot just have one agency or one ministry responsible to address the problem. But one agency do not have jurisdiction over other agencies. So Jakarta should establish what we call with our research and discussions with the air quality ecosystem is the what we call it the working group or the POKJA. These working groups needs to be provided with the authority over many sectoral agencies. So you cannot just expect that Dinas Lingkungan Hidup Jakarta will be able to manage the police to secure that they will do the emission checking. There should be something about all of the agencies that can enforce this. But this is the systemic enabler. So this is in the middle. The next one is the long-term strategy. The long-term strategy, once you already establish the foundational and the systemic enabler, on the long term, you can look at more investment on the monitoring system because the reference rate is very expensive. So that's how I respond to your question. So we cannot just say, okay, we have transport, we just focus on no, but this is the foundation. Along the way, finally, you need to address all sectors, but you need to have a phase strategy. You cannot address everything at once, but you need to work your first step. So this is how I respond to the question, how Jakarta should prioritize.
Thank you very much, Pak. I also agree with you that the LH cannot stand alone to make our quality, air quality to become better. They excel. Agree, totally agree, because they have no powerful powerful body to make everything's under the rules, right? So need another agency to help them like that. Agree. So we will now open a limited Q&A session, and participant. Oh yeah, you want to say? Yeah, okay. This okay. Okay, please, Professor.
Thank you. I just wanted to respond to a couple of the things that was said and offer additional perspective, maybe an outsider perspectives for this. And I want to just make a couple of basic points. One is that this issue of air quality is not only an issue of pollution. It's also an issue of heat, and it's an issue associated with the environment within which we are living. So you cannot just think about isolating this problem to one aspect and think that, you'll create a great global city. But it has to be very comprehensive. This second little point that I want to just respond to is that I actually believe it is not only the problem of the government. You said it was the problem of the government. Yes, it is the problem of the government, but not only the government. There are so many stakeholders that need to come together. And that's what I said in my opening statement. This is a co-creation problem. In academic literature, we sometimes call this a collective action problem, that many stakeholders have to come together. And the choices that we make every single day in the city either contribute to or help to mitigate this problem. So the government, of course, as a policymaker and a regulator, is an investor, is extremely important. But it's really for everyone in Jakarta. And then the third quick point here is that this is, as I was saying, this kind of integrated kind. And the people of Jakarta have been working on this for a long time. And I can see that as I walk through the city. I can see how many of you in the crowd like to go to shopping malls? Oh, come on. There's a lot more of you. Yeah. We go to shopping malls because it's cool, because the air is filtrated. It's a place where we can feel very comfortable in the context of the air quality outside. And that is a form of adaptation, what in the academics would call adaptation. You are making a choice to adapt to the high level of beats. In Jakarta, also the high level of humidity. And I can tell you, I also am from a high humidity city. It's very hot when the air is wet. And then, of course, the pollution itself. And as human beings, we will continue to adapt to our environment. And I can see in Jakarta, people have been adapting to a high level of pollution and heat for a long time. And I think this also extends to the issue, the kind of decision to go in a car and maybe not in public transportation. Yeah. And so we have to think of this in that way, in a very comprehensive way with many stakeholders. And so I just want to offer 3 quick solutions to strategies that complements the things that we said. So number 1, we have to move from adaptation to mitigation. We cannot only just adapt to worse and worse and worse air quality, although there are examples of that in other cities. So at some point, we have to really mitigate the sources, and I think we've heard that here. And that also is complicated. That requires investments. It requires changing maybe from coal to other sources of energy. And so that's incredibly important. But that also is the real estate owners, the owners of the buildings, and the choices we made in mobility. Those are mitigation strategy that everybody has to participate in. So that's from adaptation to mitigation. The second is we cannot only talk. We have a saying in the United States, especially in politics, talk is cheap. I mean, just talking is very inexpensive. We have to move to action. We have to move to actual change. And so part of that is not only establishing long-term goals, but also establishing short-term goals. And I think the discussion about prioritization fits into that. Like, we have to think about, a 2-year goal, a 5-year goal, not just a 20 or a 30-year. Yeah. And part of that transition, I believe, is a commitment to doing demonstration projects. and thinking about places within Jakarta that we really elevate our demonstration target, where we can test and innovate and experiment with some of the the last, and we've heard this also, and I just completely agree, and I'm so excited to hear that there's an active NGO community working on this. The third point that is so important and is directly related to this collective action problem is transparency and communication. And we heard that already. These issues have to be transparent, not only to the members in the government and not only to investors or other important single stakeholders. The information has to be available to everyone. And with transparency, that is where very exciting innovation can happen, because coalitions will form, groups will work together, and collaboration and innovation will really advance what is this incredibly difficult multi-components problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. And we're now open for a limited Q&A session. Participant who wish to pose a question, please, you are invited to raise your hand. Buat yang mau bertanya, dipersilakan. Ada yang mau nanya? Satu, dua, satu lagi. Yang perempuan nggak ada yang mau nanya? Ladies, beautiful ladies, over there. Yang cantik-cantik mau bertanya? Nggak ada? Satu lagi? Nggak ada yang mau bertanya? Oke. Kita bungkus. Satu pertanyaan, silakan. Oh, udah ada. Oke, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Renardus. I'm a lecturer in economics from University of Prasetya Mulia. I want to address this question to Professor Uwe Brandes. As we see from the title itself states that cities, citizens, and solution. In this context, I want to see a perspective about the role of urbanization, and in Jakarta especially, and the role of city density in Jakarta in influencing the local air pollution. That's it. Thank you.
Great. That's great. Well, let me just make one additional observation as an outsider. You have an incredible advantage in Jakarta, and that advantage is that you are growing. Imagine a city that is standing still or shrinking and having to make these changes. Very difficult. So you are growing, you have an incredible population that are growing, and so that is one of your major strengths, that you can solve problems as you grow. The second issue related to that is that all of this requires money. And this is an economic challenge. It's an economic challenge. It's a health challenge. It's a science challenge, but it is definitely an economic challenge. And there are economic opportunities and there are economic costs. And a big part of this is, if the economic opportunities, is smart urbanization, is creating land use and settlement patterns and the infrastructure that goes with that, that results in a healthy city, a city of clean air. And so I see that a little bit in Jakarta, but Jakarta needs many, many more neighborhoods that are walkable, where people don't have to get into a car in order to just go, a few feet, where you don't have to get on a motorcycle or scooter, where you can walk. And so, and land use density is related to that for sure. There's an interesting alignment, as I see in other cities, between real estate developers and landowners and environmental advocates. Very interesting. So I hope those kinds of conversations happen in Jakarta, because we need places that are healthy in order for the whole city to transform.
Thank you, Professor. Mudah-mudahan menjawab ya, Mas. Ya. Any other question?
The other one.
Hi. I'm curious for you three if there's another city or just another example that's inspired you to keep your work going and makes you want to come to work every day to achieve this goal.
So, three of you. Pak Satya dulu deh tadi.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So before overseeing or managing the Clean Air Catalyst for Jakarta, I manage the ASEAN peatland management. So dealing also with the peat fires. So the haze coming from the peat fires across the ASEAN region. So I work not only with Jakarta Bahwan, but also with people from 10 countries in ASEAN, with the issue that also affecting the health from the burning of the forest and on the field pond. And now, as you're still working on methane air catalyst, you also have new initiatives around the methane mitigation. So methane is also one of the sort of climate pollutant. It is also very the impact is very much worse in terms of affecting our climate and our health. So we'll be also working not only in Jakarta but also in five, main islands in Indonesia. My personal, attribution in finding to these issues around the, the pollutions and keeping our environment intact. Yeah, because it's always, it's always a question about what we can do to you know to substitute of what we have present from our nature. But maybe it is not only about the nature in terms of we are talking about keeping our forest intact, but also to make the cities that we live is a livable neighborhood for us. Yeah, I think that's my take for your HCC. Up to you, Paul.
Okay, other cities. Well, actually, I'm seeing from the perspective of Jakarta. Like for the many case of the transboundary emission, Jakarta actually surrounded by Jabodetabek area, Jakarta greater area, metropolitan areas. So if you notice that we reach a very high level of the air quality index around the dry season, because it's some pollution from industries and also power plant from Tangerang and also Bekasi in different season, and will like blow from their areas to Jakarta. So this something that we cannot put boundaries, right? So that was called it's the transboundary emission. So in the perspective of Jakarta, actually it is very crucial that Jakarta takes the leadership, right? As a global city governance, take leadership on how that's the collective action actually from all different region in neighboring areas. Also, like work together to handle this issue. Actually, Jakarta is already make a very significant measures ya Pak. Yeah, actually the policy like like with this current administration that they take initiative, that's the public transportation extends from Jakarta to the greater area like Tangerang, BSD now. That's actually a very great move, because actually you support your neighbors and then support and also force, yeah, for them to use the public transport and then come to Jakarta. So this is actually one of the priority that Jakarta city governors right now to prioritize, like this all the mass public transportation to extends to the Jakarta greater area. That's in the terms of public transport. In terms of industry, actually, this is quite tricky. Because we also face difficulties to different capacities of the city governments. So like the government is Tangerang, Bekasi that contribute most with the industrial emission. That's actually have a very like we need to have a strengthened capacity to increase them in like for the surveillance of the emission, for the doings the enforcement monitorings of the emission, and also kind of some policy like to force the transition and from energy coal to gas, for example. But it's not simple. Again, that's Jakarta actually has a very huge resource for this, and then they actually now offer some of the grants to the neighbors area in order to help like to have this collective strategy in clear action. So that's one of the, if we talk about the cities and other priority area. And then also the model of Jakarta itself can be replicated in other cities with, actually with similar complexities like Surabaya in East Java. Maybe you can take your dad later, travel around Indonesia. Surabaya is actually, like another potential to have, like this replication, what would already some of measures that Jakarta already take, right? Semarang also in some intervention, actually Semarang quite, advanced than Jakarta in some area ya Pak Aji ya. And then Bali also WRI has a collaboration with the Bali government in order to promote the low emission zone area, something like that. So actually it's many different things. We can extend the cohort for this clean air action. We also need to encourage and then promote and leverage the efforts in Jakarta itself, and then how then they can replicate to other cities.
I see. Thank you, Mbak Imelda. Mbak Novita?
Maybe I'm totally agree with Mbak Imelda, because I think I'm gonna say that Jakarta is not a city, but I say that Jakarta is a province. And we need to focus on the greater Jakarta, which is like the satellite cities like Bekasi, Bogor, Depok. Because I'm looking at the Google. Actually, Jakarta's per capita income it's 225 billion, and it's totally different from the satellite city in Bodetabek. So I think the grants mechanism from Jakarta to other city, we need to focus on that, especially for the data transparency, because in Jakarta they have 100 local sensors, and in the other cities like Bekasi it's only 2. So I think that's the really important, because we need data for the basement, for the create the good policies, and we need to give the other people early warning system. So I think instead of other city in Indonesia, I think we want to focus to the cities like the satellite cities, because I think Jakarta is not a city, it's a province. So it's totally different. So that's.
Thank you very much. Any additional from you?
I just want to support that so much. When it comes to water pollution or air pollution, the pollution doesn't obey the political boundaries. It is really a metropolitan need to nurture.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, we have to end this session because it's already in time. So thank you very much for all of you for joining us in our discussion today. Please give us a rounding applause for our 4 speaker in front of us, and especially for you, Professor Brandes, that you fly from DC to here just to attend this event with your daughter. Yeah. Okay. Welcome to Jakarta, and let us know if you need something. Yeah. Okay. To see sightseeing around Jakarta. Yeah. Thank you very much. I'll give back to our MC. Thank you.
Oke, thank you so much speakers. Dan sebelum selesai acaranya, boleh speaker stays here karena akan ada cenderamata dan we can take a picture together. Yes. Baik, cenderamata dari Jakarta Future Festival akan diberikan oleh Bapak Andika ke Profesor Brandes. Dan selanjutnya, baik. Dan ada boneka kecil juga di rumah. It's a little doll called JKT. Baik. Wah, ini bonekanya bisa dipajang ini di rumah ini. Baik semuanya, kita bisa so we can take a picture together. So everyone get the best smiles in 3, 2, 1. Next pose. 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much everyone. Thank you. Terima kasih banyak Pak Antika. Silakan untuk menempati tempat duduknya kembali. Baik. So it's a really insightful discussion for today. Thank you so much everyone, and thank you so much for speakers and also the moderators for amazing and thoughtful discussion today, especially